This is very exciting because it's the first time that they've come to the UK, and I'd like to introduce you to the Reeves brothers. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, we're the Reeves brothers. I'm Cole.
And I'm Matt Reeves, and we are from Nashville, Tennessee, by way of Gravette, Arkansas, and Pahrump, Nevada.
Fantastic. So you flew into London. The weather's beautiful for you.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and we couldn't think of a better time to come and for it to be our first trip. This is our first time ever going and playing anywhere out of the USA. So we're just super excited that it's here in England and that the weather's so nice, and everybody we've met has just been amazing.
Yeah, and the festival, the big buckle and boots, that'll be perfect for you.
Oh, we can't wait for the buckles and boots. We've heard about that for quite a while, and so we're super fortunate to be a part of it.
This little venue is one of my all-time favourites, but it's quite difficult to get to on public transport. But my kind friend decided he'd give me a lift, so I've come back for the first time after COVID. So isn't it just stunning?
Oh, it's just walking in here was amazing. Seeing everything and the scenery. Of course, for us, everything's new, but yeah, it's just an awesome place and such an intimate setting to where I really feel like we'll be able to capture all of the singer-songwriter stuff that we've written and all the stuff that's on our albums.
Yeah, so is the album that came out 2020, is that your first album, The Last Honky Tonk?
No, we had a couple albums prior to that just aren't available for streaming, but we had our first album, Home Sweet Honky Tonk, and our second album was called King of Country Music.
Oh, great. So this is your third, and I presume you're working on a fourth one now, are you?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're doing some things with the guy that did our last record, produced it, Kevin Skirlo. We go down to Dayton, Texas, and he has a big recording studio out on a sod farm out in the middle of Texas. And so he cut everything there. And then a gentleman named Steve Shady, who produces all of Willie Nelson's records, he mixes and masters everything. And yeah, we kind of got a little family there, and they all put it together for us. It's great.
Great. Well, we'll play a track from the album that came out 2020, The Last Honky Tonk. I like all of them. I've been playing several of them, Tucson and some of the others. But I thought I'd ask you about It Gets Cold at Night in California. How did that one come about?
We were down in California playing a show, and one thing led to another after the show, and I ended up at a little house party. And the next thing I knew, it was about 6 a.m, and I had to make my way back to the hotel because the band was leaving first thing in the morning. So I had compromised my sobriety a little too much, and I was trying to get a cab, and I couldn't find a cab, and there was no way I could get a ride back to the hotel, so I just took off walking.
We were all ignoring his calls, by the way. We were getting them. We were just ignoring them.
Yeah, they thought that I was just calling to talk to him, apparently, so they didn't realize I needed a ride. And so that was that time I realized how cold it gets at night in California. And so when I got home, I told Matt, I said, we're going to write this. So Matt and I wrote it together.
The sun is shining bright down on Sunset. Stars light up the city night and day. Santa Ana winds blow through the palm trees, and a chill comes over me when daylight starts to fade. It gets so cold at night in California. Your memory makes me stop and wonder why. It gets so cold at night in California. Without you here to hold, my dear, I'll never sleep tonight. Taste of smooth red wine. It helps me not to think about your leaving, and warms me up when winter comes and you're still on my mind. It gets so cold at night in California. Your memory makes me stop and wonder why. It gets so cold at night in California. Without without you here to hold, my dear, I'll never sleep tonight. Oh, without you here to hold, my dear, I'll never sleep tonight. It gets so cold at night in California.
That was my special guest, the Reeves brothers, and catching up before the first show in the UK at the Kitchen Garden Cafe in Birmingham. That song there was It Gets Cold at Night in California from the album called The Last Honky Tonk, which I urge you to check out. Musical influences are always very important to me, but I bet I could guess some of them. They've got to be the stone cold country ones, haven't they? Because you're very traditional sounding.
Yes, absolutely. I know Matt and I's influences are mostly the same, but for me, I know personally it was Merle Haggard, Glenn Campbell, Johnny Paycheck, George Jones, all of those, John Conley. We grew up. Our dad was a country music entertainer, and so that was kind of the stuff that he did, and we grew up listening to that. I don't know, Matt, if you've got anything you want to add to that.
No, that's it. Yeah, our dad was an entertainer for 55, 60 years, and so by the time we were little, he was an older gentleman, and he was still playing in honky tonks 5 nights a week and playing, Merle Haggard and Charlie Pride and Waylon Jennings and Willie, everybody like that. So that's kind of what we were just like soaked in when we were kids. And fortunately, it stuck, and we love it still.
Yeah, I think it's come around again, country. I mean, I've been following it since the 90s. I loved all those 90s females. I still do,
Sure.
Trishy and Martina, they all got me into it. Then I got country, and then it all went a bit sort of bro country, didn't it? But now I think there's something for everyone. I like it now where we're at. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it does seem to just a broader spectrum of music, and I think that you have the ability to listen to whatever you want now with all the streaming platforms, so it makes it easier to kind of find your lane and just listen to everything, or anything you want to.
Fantastic. So a track came out a couple of months ago called Sober Up to Face the Night. So is that going to be on a new album?
I don't know. We've been recording a lot of singles lately, and we have some stuff worked up, but we have a lot of tracks recorded, but we haven't put them all together in a file and figured out which songs we want to put on a full-length album yet. So hopefully that will be coming before too awful long. We'll have another album out.
I've noticed actually it's another drinking reference, so that means you're definitely country, doesn't it? So did that come from the same experience, or how did that one come about?
That one actually came about. Very dear friend of ours, Joe Swopes. We were in Arkansas in his basement, and his basement garage, and we were talking, and I was playing guitar, and one thing led to another, and Kelly Bishop, who played bass for us at the time, I was writing it, and at the end he said, you know what, there's just no songs that mention death anymore in country music, like a He Stopped Loving Her Today, and he said, you ought to find a way to make you guys have a car accident at the end of the song.
Oh, gosh.
And that's why you got to sober up to face the night. And I said, oh, we'll try it. So we went with it, and that's where it ended up.
I've drank more than my fair share of whiskey. I've been in quite a few of them honky-tonk bars. The hangovers and heartaches fade away, but the memories of you have stayed so long. And I've got to sober up to face the night. I can't fall asleep with you still on my mind. I'm drunk on all the memories of you here laying by my side, and I've got to sober up to face the night. I know I've drank whiskey every day. Never thought you'd be the one had to pay. The wreck out on the highway late that night sobered me right up and took your life. And now I've got to face the night.
That was my special guest, the Reeves brothers, and Sober Up to Face the Night, one of the new singles. And before we get to the very new single, what are you hoping to do while you're over in the UK? Are you able to do any sightseeing or?
This is great because when we landed today, I told our manager and first cousin, Scott Reeves, I told him, I said, I have got to go see Stonehenge. It hadn't even hit me, but I have always wanted to go see that. So we are going to go sightseeing. We're going to try to get over to Abbey Road and go to the Cavern Club in Liverpool. Good news is we're touring like all over England, so we should be able to hit everywhere. We're super excited about it.
My goal is to kayak. I want to go. I want to kayak while I'm here, and I'd like to go on a hike. And we're gonna kayak Oxford. So I'm super excited for that.
And we kind of hiked at the airport today.
Yeah, I fell on the escalator today at the airport, so I got that going for me.
You're not going to sue though?
No, absolutely not. No suing. But I could use a Band-Aid.
Yeah, you mentioned Scott Reeves. He's over there from Blue County, and I was lucky enough to see him here. He said 2018. I mean, to me, it seems like yesterday, but...
It was amazing how it worked out, his connections through the times he was here playing, and I know you did several tours here with Aaron Benward and him, their group, Blue County.
Yeah.
Oh, they do a great show. I love. We grew up going to watch them play when we were just little kids, when they were on Curb Records and on the Billboard charts over in the U.S.
We show up at their show trying to get them to like add us to the show.
Yeah,
and sometimes they did.
Yeah, every now and then they'd let us get up.
Yeah, they'd let us get up, and we'd honky tonk with them when we were little kids.
Yeah, really. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay, fantastic. Well, just the last thing then. So the brand new single, which I really do like, called Medicine Man. My friend over there said that it's something to do with where you grew up.
It is. Yeah, our first songwriting session ever in Nashville was with our cousin Scott and Leslie Satcher.
Leslie's my favourite ever.
Leslie,
did she co-write this?
She did co-write.
No wonder I love it
Ernst
so
Scott.
much. Yeah.
Which you know, she wrote Troubadour for George Strait, and Leslie, she's amazing. She's like the queen of Nashville, and so we were there, and we were just kind of giving her. We met her, and within 5 minutes, we had written a song, and then we were on to the next one. And she was like, "Oh, tell me about yourself." And we told her, well, we grew up doing this and that behind this bar, and then we moved over to this little street called Medicine Man. And boy, Medicine Man, that's a song. And so we started writing it, and it was done in 10 minutes. It was a fast song, and so it was just kind of our upbringing. It was this little patch of dirt road out in the middle of Pahrump, Nevada. And there was.
Which, if anybody makes it out there, we're not lying. It is paved now.
It is paved. But
it wasn't then.
But it wasn't when we were little kids.
I broke both my big toes on a bicycle there trying to brake because my brakes went out, and I had to use the dirt and gravel to stop myself.
It was a wild little street. There was at one point there was like a group of like 13-year-old girls that were flying down the road there and flipped their car end over end down this little bitty street just randomly. And I remember that. It was just, there was always something going on that little stretch of street.
Things that go Pahrump in the night.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it was just, it's kind of our upbringing in Pahrump, Nevada. Cole wrote the Stage Stop Bar about our upbringing in the bar, and that was kind of our home life, is what Medicine Man is.
Well, that's wonderful. So I really look forward to the show, and I really hope you have a fantastic time in the UK.
Well, we cannot thank you guys enough for coming out, and thank you for interviewing us, and thank you guys for being here, because we couldn't be more excited to be playing here, and we're happy this was our first connection and doing something overseas out of the U.S.
Daddy slept till noon. He sang in a beer joint every night. Mama waited tables, raised up all us kids in a single wife. If I told you what I'd been through, it'd make you cry, my friend. Hard times on Medicine Man made me the man I am. Medicine Man was an old dirt road running through a desert town nobody knows, where losers rent their futures and high rollers never go. medicine man made me the man I am. We took Daddy's guitars and made our way to Tennessee. There ain't a one-night stand, five-piece band that ain't played his songs with me. Now we're doing Daddy's show while he sits there on the front row and cries. And hard times on medicine man come through every song tonight. Medicine man was an old dirt road running through a desert town nobody knows, where losers rent the futures and high rollers never go. On easy street, you'd never understand how hard times on medicine man made me the man I am. If you were raised on easy street, you won't ever understand medicine man made me the man I am.